Hello, brave, beautiful, beloved soul friends. Welcome to another Conversations with Kristin, that beautiful time of your day where you explore the unconscious mind from the inside out. So today I have a really powerful healing journey trick. It's actually from this book, Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve, Self-Help Exercises for Anxiety, Depression, Trauma, and it's written by Stanley Rosenberg. And so this book helped me understand the autonomic nervous system and the influence of the vagus nerve on various aspects of personal experience. And then there's like a dozen really good exercises. And the one I'm about to share with you is the basic exercise. And it was seriously a healing journey game changer. In the midst of really deep dissociation, it helped me have more regulation and presence, and it was a profound game changer. So please feel free to explore this and kind of play with it and see what it does for you. So Stanley writes in here, from my clinical observations, I believe that it only takes one negative thought to bring the atlas and the axis, C1 and C2, out of joint. And so there's these little bones and joints and stuff right here kind of holding our brainstem in, and even just having one negative thought can shift them so they're out of place and things aren't flowing effectively, affecting our posture and physiology. So I'm going to read through this and then demonstrate it and then just let you kind of make it your own. It's very helpful. So the goal of this exercise is to enhance social engagement. It repositions the atlas, C1, the first cervical or neck vertebrae, and the axis, C2, and increases mobility in the neck and the entire spine. It increases blood flow to the brainstem, where the 5 cranial nerves necessary for social engagement originate. This can have a positive effect on the ventral branch, which is the regulated present branch. The dorsal vagal branch is where you get in the fold response or a low energy stress response, and then the sympathetic chain is where you get in the high energy stress response or the fight flight response. The ventral branch is where you're socially engaged and you're regulated and you're present and your body feels safe and everything's flowing super well. So this can have a positive effect on the ventral branch of the vagus nerve, as well as on several other cranial nerves, like the ones that help you animate your face. And so like if your face is just really like flat and you feel like you can't really smile, or like there's not a lot of animation, like this compared to like this, where there's like crinkles around the eyes and like a lot of movement in the muscles, that can be a sign of social disengagement, which means that certain cranial nerves are not effectively engaging because the body's in a stress response. So the basic exercise is effective, easy to learn, easy to do, and it takes less than 2 minutes to complete. So I'm just going to read through this and demonstrate, and we'll see what you guys think, okay? So before and after the basic exercise, evaluate the relative freedom of movement of your head and neck. Rotate your head to the right as far as it comfortably goes, and then come back to center and pause a little bit, and then turn to the left as far as it comfortably goes, and come back to center. How far do you rotate to each side? Is there any pain or stiffness? After doing the exercise, make the same movements again, where you go to the right, pause, and just kind of evaluate how far you can turn your head and if there's any pain or stiffness, and come back to center, pause just for a second, and then go to the left again, and then see if there's any pain or stiffness and how far you can turn. Okay, so do this before and after. And then afterwards, is there any improvement in the range of your movement? If there was pain when you rotated your head, did the exercise help reduce the level of the pain? And then Stanley says, most people I have treated are surprised to experience an improvement in the range of movement as they rotate their head to the right and left. Better movement of the neck often accompanies an improvement in the circulation of blood to the brainstem, which in turn improves the function of the ventral branch of the vagus nerve, or regulation of the autonomic nervous system, which is what helps us be able to be present and feel safe and feel hunger and feel appetite and eat and digest food and feel relaxed and feel engaged and feel safe to connect with ourselves and other people. Okay, so the first few times that you do this exercise, you should lie down on your back. I'm going to demonstrate this standing, but when you're first trying it, do it while you're lying on your back for at least several times. But then once you get familiar with it, then you can do it standing or sitting in a chair or lying down, okay? So start with this exercise lying on your back and explore it from there. And then once you get more comfortable with it, then you can do it standing or sitting in a chair. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is lying comfortably on your back. Just pretend I'm lying on my back. Weave the fingers of one hand together with the fingers of the other hand. Put your hands behind the back of your head with the weight of your head resting comfortably on your interwoven fingers. You should feel the hardness of your cranium with your fingers, and you should feel the bones of your fingers on the back of your head. If you have a stiff shoulder and cannot bring both of your hands up behind the back of your head, it is sufficient to use one hand, with the fingers and palm contacting both sides of the back of your head. Okay? I'm going to do this with you guys here. So we're going to interlace our fingers together. All right? We got them interlaced. And then they're going to go behind the backs of our head. So you'll feel the cranium resting on the head. You'll feel it. You can kind of just have your thumbs hanging out here for a little support there. And you're lying down, so you'll feel the weight of your head into your hands. Okay, you'll feel the weight of your head in your hands because you're lying down. I'm pretending I'm lying down. Okay, and then what we're going to do is leaving the head completely still. We're not going to move the head. We're going to move our eyes to the right. And we're going to hold them there until the body has a sign of relaxation, which shows as a yawn or a sigh, or I think maybe a sneeze. I'll check in the book in a second. And for me, there's a lot of rapid blinking because adjusting the vagus nerve impacts the processing of unconscious memories that are still striving to effectively make connections. There's a lot of implicit data, and it's all very, very associated with the vagus nerve and the brainstem. The brainstem houses our cranial nerves, the majority of the roots of them. And it houses a lot of our implicit memories, the unconscious memory systems that hold different emotions and procedures. And so a lot of rapid blinking for me just means a lot is getting processed as things shift their movement. I can feel the blood flow changing in my hands and everything. And there it goes. Remember to leave your head still. You're only turning your eyes to the right. If your eyes start to hurt, you can bring them back to center, or if it's a bearable, just like a slight discomfort, you can leave them moving to the right until the yawn and the blinking is all done. And then once you're all done, bring your eyes back to center. If you need to pause, good job. Great job. Well done. Well done. All right, other side. Other side. From your eyes to center, we're going to move on over to the left. And so you're lying down, your hands are interwoven, your cranium's resting on the back of your head is leaning into your hands. If your hands fall asleep, you can just kind of take a little break and shake them out. Sometimes that happens. It's just kind of shifting the blood flow because the vagus nerve kind of affects the way that blood is flowing. That's okay. That's all right. Just breathe through it. It's okay. It'll come back. And then we're going to go and do the other side, okay? So hands interwoven, head leaning back. You're laying down for this. I'm pretending to be laying down. Once you get a hang of it, you can do it standing up or sitting in a chair, but for the first few times, do it laying down. And then you're looking straight ahead, and then we're going to look to the left. Do not move your head, just your eyes. And look kind of directly to the left as far as your eyes can comfortably go. So you want to push them a little bit, but not so it's uncomfortable. You know, you want to look as far as you can. And then keep breathing. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Take a nice, big, deep inhale, and then a little pause, and then very slowly exhale. Slow exhales also help to regulate the autonomic nervous system, which helps increase all the good stuff happening in our mind and our body. And hold it until there's a sign of autonomic relaxation, like a yawn. Let that yawn go all the way through. If there's blinking, just keep breathing deeply. It just means that some stuff's getting processed, and staying present helps it to get processed effectively. So just stay present with your breath if there's blinking. And then once it kind of comes to a good pause, and you bring your eyes back to center. Oh, I think my head might turn a little bit. I want to keep your head still. Mine got a little intense there. All right. Okay, let me just go through. Okay, so after a short period of time, with your eyes moved to one side at a time, you will swallow. That was the other one. Swallow, yawn, or sigh. So there might be a kind of an instinctive swallowing, or a yawn like you saw happen with me, or a sigh. And he explains here, a normal in-breath is followed by an out-breath, but a sigh is different. After you breathe in, the second in-breath follows at the top of the first breath. So instead of it being, it's kind of like that. That's kind of like what a sigh is, he's explaining, before the out-breath. Okay, so when you're doing that with your eyes to one side at the time, with your hands behind your head and your head staying still, and then your eyes go to the right, and then after you do this side, then they go to the left, and during that time you hold your eyes looking to the side until you get a swallow, a yawn, or a sigh. Those are signs of relaxation in the autonomic nervous system. A sneeze is when there's a shift in the engagement of the brainstem. That's why I got that mixed up. So you want to do that until there's a swallow, a yawn, or a sigh. And then do it on both sides, one at a time, starting with the right. Okay, now that you have completed the basic exercise, take your hands away and sit up or stand up. Evaluate what you have experienced. Has there been any improvement in the mobility of your neck? Has your breathing changed? Do you notice anything else? Okay, so let's go ahead and test it. Okay, so we're going to turn to the right. A little bit less of stiffness, maybe slight increase in mobility for me. And I just pause there for a second, let it reset, and go to the left. Yeah, a little bit. It's pretty minor for me, but there's a little bit of improvement. And then note, if you become dizzy when you sit up or stand up, it is probably because you relaxed when you were lying down and your blood pressure dropped. This is a normal reaction. It usually takes a minute or two before your blood pressure adjusts and pumps more blood to your brain. So if you feel dizzy, just take it slow and just kind of give it a second and take some deep breaths. It's all a very normal response. So again, this is the Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve by Stanley Rosenberg, and it's got some explanations about the vagus nerve. Like, for example, the polyvagal theory, the actual book, the polyvagal theory, is really hard to read. Like, it's like more gnarly than some top-notch college textbooks. It's really difficult to read and just like easily comprehend in a way that you can just like apply the information to your everyday life. It's really well done and complex, but just for kind of learning about your own vagus nerve, just for the sake of learning about yourself, the polyvagal theory, the book, is really tricky to read. And so this goes through the polyvagal theory, but in a way that's really reader friendly and personally applies to everyday life, talking about like the effects on it in everyday life, and just stuff that you can like really easily personally apply to you. So really, I do recommend this book. And if you want to check out my website, I actually have a whole page of recommended reading, a lot of books, and I think one video that really made a difference in my healing journey. You can grab that at kristinwindsor.com/gifts, and there's a little link, and it has a little picture, and it says recommended reading. and it's just a one-page paper you can download, and it has a list of a lot of good stuff, and this is one of the ones that's on there. And then it has a bunch of different exercises. This is just the first of many, and so it goes through, and there's a whole bunch of exercises, and it helps improve a lot of functions, mind-body connectivity sort of stuff, and some diagrams to help you understand a lot of the things. So really great book. The Basic Exercise is a complete game changer for me when I found it last year. When we're experiencing traumatic stress or dissociation or anxiety or panic attacks or depression or any of the kind of common mental health battles that people all over the world are struggling with right now, it has a lot to do with the flow of our autonomic nervous system and things happening in our brainstem beyond awareness, and how that affects like our frontal lobe engagement and different stuff going on in our body. And so having that really healthy mind-body connectivity is really important, and the vagus nerve plays a huge role in that. So please feel free to explore the book, play with this exercise, try it a few times. It might take a little bit of getting used to. It's something new, it's something different. So kind of rewatch this and kind of just take it step by step and see what works for you. You might need to hold your eyes to the side for longer. You might not get much of a response one time, but then another time you will. It just kind of depends. So feel free to explore it and share about your experiences below, and connect with other people who have tried the exercise too. You can comment on each other's comments and kind of engage in the comment section here on this video. Yeah, lots of good stuff. So a lot of times when we're struggling with a mental health battle, there's what's called social disengagement, which just means that the cranial nerves contributing to our ability to engage and feel safe and easily connect and easily understand and feel relaxed and have movement in our facial muscles and like instinctively respond to things in like a very present way. The stuff that helps us do that is just not connecting right. It's not flowing right. It's not engaged properly. And that has to do with cranial nerves in our brainstem. And so the Basic Exercise helps to re-engage that. It helps reposition the atlas and the axis, which are back here kind of holding the brainstem in place. It helps to re-engage the cranial nerves that are tucked in the brainstem and affecting all kinds of stuff. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me for this Conversations with Kristin. If you liked hanging out, if you learned something new, or if you just want to spread a little overall positivity in the world, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate your support on my channel. And you can grab a bunch of free healing journey gifts, including a recommended reading list, a brain rewiring playbook, and a whole bunch of other magics at kristinwindsor.com/gifts. And if you would ever like to connect one-on-one through a consciousness consulting call, I would be absolutely honored to serve as a healing journey guide so that you have more power to understand and heal your unconscious mind, to rewire your neurobiological data, liberate your parts of consciousness, and transform your entire life experience from the inside out. Our sense of identity and processing of personal experience directly stem from the neurobiological data of our unconscious mind. Hundreds of trillions of neural networks flowing through our brain and our body, and learning how to manually modulate that to produce healing, restoration, and transformative liberation is my absolute specialty, and it's an honor to share the gifts I've gained along my healing journey with the world. So please feel free to visit my website. You can find out more about me, who I am, what I do, my story, and how I got into this line of work, or you can go ahead and schedule a one-on-one session with me at kristinwindsor.com. It would be an absolute honor to connect with you, soul friends. So thanks again for joining me. I'd love to hear about your experiences with this. Please feel free to comment below about how the Basic Exercise went for you, and check out other people's comments and give each other a little encouragement. We're all in this healing journey of life together. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day, and I will see you next time, beloved soul friends. Namaste. The love and light within me, see and honor the love and light within you. Have a beautiful, blessed, and glory-filled day, and I will see you next time.